The two-time champions of the Major Indoor Soccer League, the New York Arrows, are sponsored in part by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Buick and your Buick dealer, who invites you to see the 1981 Buicks. By Chemical Bank and the over 100 Chemical Bank branches to serve you. By UltraSeal, the ultimate in automotive value protection. By Sony, a full line of audio and video products to help you see and hear all the wonders of the world. From Sony, the one and only. And by the smokeless tobaccos, Skoal, Copenhagen, and Happy Days, enjoyed by millions of guys for tobacco pleasure without smoking.
The scene is St. Louis, Missouri, the city that helped make the Major Indoor Soccer League a phenomenon. Over the past season, the defending champion Arrows went 35-5. In downtown Baltimore, the Baltimore Blast thrilled the city. They came in second place in the Atlantic Division. In the Western Division, it was the Wichita Wings rocking the Midwest. They went on and defeated Chicago to wind their way into St. Louis. And the home team Steamers, the second best team in the MISL, they won the Central Division. It's the Major Indoor Soccer League semifinals from the Checkerdome in the St. Louis, Missouri. You'll see game one, the New York Arrows and the Baltimore Blast. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Checkerdome in St. Louis, Missouri. They hold the top 10 records for the largest crowds ever in the MISL right here, and so it is appropriate that the big MISL championship weekend winds its way in St. Louis. Al Troutwig along with Nick Slatar, and you'll see game one of the semifinals, the defending champion New York Arrows and the Baltimore Blast. They met 6 times in the regular season, but Baltimore was able to nip the Arrows twice at the friendly grounds of the Nassau Coliseum.
When it comes to playing New York Arrows, nobody does it better than the Baltimore Blast. Twice they came out winning, both times at the home grounds of the New York Arrows at the Coliseum. Today should be no different. The emotions are flying. The semifinals are here. So we look for a real good one from the Blast as well as from New York.
The Arrows ended the regular season by losing to Buffalo and then defeating Chicago in overtime. Then it was on to the playoffs, and they had the scare of their life getting by Phoenix.
Phoenix certainly surprised everybody. Kind of an underdog team. They seemed to be fortunate to be there, and they drew New York to the third game. Finally, New York winning by the odd goal. Not many people expected to see that.
Baltimore had to get by Cleveland, and they had to go through 3 games also. So the New York Arrows will defend their championship against the upstart Baltimore Blast, and you'll see the kickoff when we return you to St. Louis right after this. The Checkerdome in St. Louis. Game one of the semifinals between the New York Arrows and the Baltimore Blast. The Arrows are the defending champions of the Major Indoor Soccer League as you watch the Baltimore Blast huddle around their head coach, Ken Cooper. The New York Arrows, the winningest team in the MISL this past season, 35-5. The referee right there, Jeff Mantell. He will be in charge of tooting the whistles between this one. This should be a rock'em sock'em game. It will be Shep Messing defending the goal to the left side for New York as the Arrows wear their home blues with red and white trim. But certainly they will not have a benefit of the hometown crowd as the people in St. Louis really don't like the Arrows one little bit. The Baltimore Blast wearing their road whites with orange, red, and yellow trim. As Bill Maxwell steps to the kickoff circle, he will be the referee on the field. Don Popovich, 2 championships to his credit. He looks for number 3. Al Troutwig, Nick Slatar from the Checkerdome in St. Louis, where they've had the 10 largest crowds in Major Indoor Soccer League history. It's appropriate that year 3 culminates here in St. Louis, the gateway city to the West. We'll play 4 15-minute quarters. The winner of this game goes on to the championship game Sunday the 29th. The Arrows started off with Jungle, Segota, Alberto, Tuksha, and Dorico. Harshani, Liverich, Collins, Counts, and Neil Cohen. Collins coming in. Alberto picks him up. Rebound outside. Shot by Liverich. Saved by Messing. Tuksha's right there. Liverich screaming for a handball. Shot inside. Deflected by Alberto. Baltimore coming out smoking. Liverich a shot. Saved by Messing. Cleared away by Dorico.
Certainly, Baltimore came out burning. They wanted to get that first punch and get the first score on the board.
Well, Baltimore defensively will jump out at New York right at the red line. Here's Bronco Segota marked by Counts. Keep an eye on Neil Cohen, the young American marking Jungle. Alberto, shot deflected by Counts. Alberto, the 5'5" quarterback of the Arrows, he makes the move. Alberto for Segota. His pass broken up. Danny counts. A long pass for the racing Liverich. DeRico is there. They bang to the boards. The ball loose at the midfield line. Jungle fighting with Counts. Gets free. Looks for space. Running to the red line. The Lord of All Endor is a long shot, and that goes wide. Rolls to the corner. These two teams are smoking. Jungle outside for Alberto. Knocked away by Collins. And now Baltimore is in control. Only 1 minute and 10 seconds into the first quarter. Luis Alberto for Bronco Segota. Segota marked by Collins. Bronco cuts to center. Second leading scorer in the MISL over the past season to the MISL MVP for the third consecutive year, Jungle. His pass for Alberto broken up, and here's Mark Liverich. Liverich, the leading scorer for Baltimore, approaches the red line, lays it off for Harshani. What a thunderous shot he has. DeRico intercepts the pass, and now slowly turns New York around.
I think it's very important for both teams to begin to set the tone and to pick up the pace, to establish their own rhythm right here early in the game in the first quarter.
Baltimore steals it away. Liverich for Counts. 13:05 left to go, quarter number one. No score yet. Crossley coming inside, right through the penalty area. Tooch is there for New York. DeRico slides it back dangerously for Shep Messing. Shep playing with a Lenox Hill brace, the same brace that Joe Namath wore in his playing days with the New York Jets. Messing still suffering from the strained ligaments he received late in February. He missed the last 8 regular season games and missed the third game of the Phoenix playoff in the quarterfinals. The Arrows taking Phoenix and escaping with their lives, winning that series 2-1. Baltimore, on the other hand, defeated Cleveland in overtime in the first game. Were blown out in Cleveland 7-1 and then rebounded to win the third game. Here's Adi Coker coming in for Baltimore. The former Arrow wheeling, spinning in the corner. Marked tightly by DeRico. Out for Jimmy Polahan, another former Arrow.
Baltimore so far, several times they looked very dangerous on very well-executed penetrating passes.
Megalunas and a goal! Nicky Megalunas with a length of the field run, beating Sepp Gattenhammer, and the Arrows jump out to a 1-0 lead. An unlikely hero, Nick Megalunas.
Nicky Megalunas, who can hit the ball very well, and I was a little bit surprised because one of the reasons why Baltimore is here because of their good defensive play. Here we see Nicky getting away from Adi Coker. Adi's putting pressure on him, but he cannot reach him. Nicky shoots from what may seem to be a little bit too far, but he was not shut down, and certainly in professional soccer, once the player reaches the shooting area, it must be picked up.
Well, we'll look at it one more time. Nicky just getting a break on the ball, coming back from behind, and off he went.
Adi tries to put pressure, but he cannot catch him, even with his great speed. Now look at this, from about 30 feet, low and far post. Very important to get the first goal, because one of the things you want to do here in the game is to maintain pressure on the opponent. Certainly the lead for New York gives them an advantage at this point in the spirit of the game.
Nicky's been having a fabulous playoff series, scored only 1 goal the entire regular season. He's only the 5th Arrow to score in the playoffs. Jungle, Gugurev, and Segota each have 7 goals, 2 assists. Tuchha the only other goal. Jungle inside, slapped away by Gattenhammer, intercepted by Strenicer, who's playing with a little bit of the flu. Crossley comes out of the zone for Baltimore, but a whistle by Bill Maxwell. And we'll have a free kick, New York. 11:43 remaining in the first quarter. Arrows 1, and the Baltimore Blast nothing. The goal by Megalunas, his first of the playoffs, coming at 2:52 to put the Arrows on top. We have yet to hear if there was an assist on the goal.
I seriously doubt it, Al, because Nicky ran almost 3/4 of the field and put it in on his own.
Shot hits the post by Segota. The header inside, grabbed by Gattenhammer.
Very important for Baltimore here to reestablish the good play that they had in the early minutes of the game. Not to fall down and put their heads down. They can come back very quickly. They'll get chances to score. They must utilize them.
Brian Budd right on the doorstep as Shep Messing pounces on the clear back by Megalunas. And now the Arrows try to get out of their zone. They go with Satevsky, Strenicer, Megalunas, Segota, and Gugurev. Collins, Crossley, D'Souza, Coker, and Budd for Baltimore. Satevsky in his own defensive third looks back for help. Megalunas is there. Almost stolen by Budd. Gugurev battles Collins along the boards. Baltimore comes up with it. The blast into the New York zone. Brian Budd weaving to center. Crossfield, Crossley cuts back to center. The 32-year-old, the drive knocked down by Megalunas. Cleared out for Fred Gugurev, battling with John Collins. Gugurev looks back for the elder statesman of New York, Gene Strenicer at 35. Crossfield for Megalunas. 10:48 left to go, first quarter. Arrows on top, 1-0. Crossley coming in left point. Cuts Deeks, tackled away by Megaludis, and Segota now in control for New York. Approaches the midfield line, running full speed ahead. Left point, nice sliding tackle by Collins. Satevsky backing him up on the play. Back inside for Segota again. Bronco dealing on D'Souza. Shot saved by Gattenhammer. Rifles it up to the midfield line for Mark Liverich. Ball bangs off the glass, and Strenisser is there. Gino back for the 18-year-old defender Mike Uremovich of New York. Baltimore staying with their lineup, save for Laszlo Harshani, who's back on, and Danny Counts.
Well, Baltimore applying very good pressure here. There you see him intercepting the ball, and it was due by the pressure of their attacking players on the backs of New York.
A fast-paced game ever since kickoff. Here's Danny Counts with room. Coming in, cuts to center. Now he's picked up in double team. Out for D'Souza, for Harshani. Harshani's been taking a lot of shots in the playoffs. Good give and go. Harshani couldn't get a handle on it. Spins around in the corner, marked by Carmen Marcantonio of New York. Nikitovich chests it down, but Liverich is there. The Arrows look to force Liverich to his left. He certainly is a much better left-footed player than right. And the crowd at the Checkerdome coming to life for the Baltimore Blast. Intercepted. Arrows had a 2-on-1, but Collins is there to pick up the loose ball. Arrows again. There was speculation prior to the game. Who would the fans root for? Certainly no question that they're rooting for Baltimore. So the Charm City has thousands of fans in its favor in the Checkerdome. Now Satevsky on D'Souza. Inside for Nikitovich, broken up by Harshani. 9:10 left to go first quarter. Gagarev will play it on the ricochet off the hardwood. Picked up by Counts in the corner.
We see New York going to Freddie Gray here. He has really been the key player for New York in the series between these two teams. Neil Cohen does one of the best jobs that anybody in the league does against Steve Zungel. And I think this has freed a number of times for Freddie to come through. So Sullivan, or rather Collins, has had the job of containing Freddie Gurgarev.
The Arrows are playing without one of their strongest defenders, Renato Chila, who was suspended from regular season play after striking a referee in Game 2. There's a look at what the Blast did overall this season. It's been a roller coaster season for Baltimore. They've come from behind 7 times to win. They traditionally outshoot and outscore their opponent in the first quarter, although at season's end and at the end of the first playoff series for Baltimore, they were outscored, yet still had the winning record, 21-19 on the year. Freddie Gagarev moving into Baltimore real estate, tackled off the play by Palahan. He's another Baltimore player that has to have a good game. Palahan going against his former teammate, slides it over for Liverich.
Also, Jimmy's in his hometown, so you know he'll do the best that he can.
There's a few St. Louis natives playing on this team. Danny Counts, Don Hubert, Jim Palahan.
Dan Geerling.
And Danny Geerling. Here's Brian Budd. Budd coming in. At one time the Superstars champion. He golfs it into the crowd, and it will be a goal kick New York. Let me tell you that this program is authorized by SportsView Productions Incorporated, solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the program without the express written consent of SportsView Productions Incorporated, is prohibited. 8:04 remaining, first quarter. 1-0 is the score as we watch Shep Messing, the Arrows all-star goalkeeper. Shep corrals the ball in his own penalty area. Arrows go with Dorico, Tuksha, Nikitovich, Franz St. Lot, and Fred Gagarev. It's Crossley, D'Souza, Coker, Brian Budd, and Jimmy Palahan for Baltimore. Gattenhammer defends the goal right, Messing is left. Coker can't bang it off the board. St. Lot clears for New York. He's met by Coker. Tough pressure defense being applied by Baltimore. Dorico, a long lead pass for Fred Gagarev. Freddie's doing a lot of body banging so far in this game, and right now he's the victim of a whistle by Bill Maxwell. It'll be a free kick, Baltimore, along the near boards.
And Freddie Gagarev has been the MVP, in my opinion, for New York in the 3 games against Phoenix. He got 7 goals, but really playing very, very inspired soccer and getting the key important goals, 4 of them in that second game, the game that New York had to win if the series was to continue to the 3rd game.
Segota, the quarterback, tackled off the play by D'Souza. St. Lot is there to corral it back for New York. Franz St. Lot, first-year New Yorker, back for David Dorico. The connoisseur slid one up for St. Lot, who was tackled down on the play, and it will be a free kick, New York. Foul called against Val D'Souza. We'll look at it again.
Here, a good pass to St. Lot, but Val gets a little bit hasty, tries to go for the ball, and a tripping foul. A couple of New York players looking for 2, but not necessary.
Back to the action, a blast and a save by Gattenhammer. Pressured by Gagarev momentarily. Now Sepp looks to distribute. Stolen away by David Dorico. Dorico picked up by Coker. Crossfield for Tuksha, who runs into Bill Maxwell. And Crossley is able to take advantage of the situation and scoop up the loose ball. Now DeRico battles, and a whistle. David DeRico hit Coker in the face with a kick of trying to clear the ball. No 2-minute penalty on the play. It will just be a Baltimore free kick from the midfield line. John Collins, a long pass for Coker. Plays it on the ricochet, scoots over his head. Knocked out to the red line. Gurgurov can't get by the tough tackle of Val D'Souza. Val D'Souza now cuts to center. Coming in, goes to the corner. A drive, kick save, Messing. Knocked away by DeRico. Out for Collins, who keeps it in. DeRico heads it away. And a whistle and a 2-minute penalty against New York. DeRico went high in the air against Brian Budd. Bill Maxwell says a little too rough, David, and you'll go up for 2.
And David has been involved in 2 tackles within 30 seconds. Certainly the man right there, Mr. Bill Maxwell, wants to make sure that this game is played within the laws of the game. There's the gentleman who was fouled, Brian Budd. Great sense of humor. Great athlete.
Well, we'll watch the foul one more time. This foul will put New York down a man.
The ball gets played very high, gets dumped into the corner. Now we'll see how Brian David go up. David goes up a little bit too early. Brian winds up against the boards. We get a 2-minute penalty on that gentleman right there, David DeRico. Great opportunity now.
Well, the Arrows had the best penalty-killing unit in the league, and if one thing was suspect about Baltimore, it was their power play. Danny Counts splits one through the defense, saved by Messing. Quickly, it goes outside for Steve Jungle. Short-handed goals, the Arrows second best in the MISL on the season.
And New York, unlike many teams, is not content just to give the ball up. We see him here keeping the ball, playing with it, maintaining possession. They've got some very good players with speed. Jungle for one, Luis Alberto to set him up. They're both on the court, so don't be surprised if New York looks to get the man, to get a goal here with the man down.
Well, right now the Arrows are content to play keep away. 1:31 remaining in the 2-minute disadvantage for New York. Baltimore on the power play with Harshani, Liverich, Counts, Mangione, and Coker. Arrows defend with Strenicer, Tuksha, Alberto, and Jungle. And here's Mark Liverich for Baltimore. Met by Alberto. Tackle missed. Mangione along the near boards. Liverich battling Alberto. Met there by Tuksha. Now the Arrows have a break. Tuksha right. Alberto at center. Val Tuksha coming in. Shot is wide. Alberto goes to the corner for the rebound. Marked by Harshani. Little Luis giving up about 10 inches on that play, and Alberto just goes out to the midfield line for Steve Jungle. Jungle in control for New York. Sports Illustrated dubbed him the Lord of all indoors. Reset his scoring mark this past season with 108 goals. 50 seconds remaining in the Baltimore power play. Arrows get it out to the red line. Megaludis is there as the Arrows make a change. Strenicer. You see how the Arrows are simply content to play the ball around. Coker keeps it in for Baltimore, and now the Blasts have it. Coker along the boards, crossfield for Danny Counts, has some room. Counts coming in, leaves it at center. Stopped by Alberto. Arrows have a 2-on-1 if they can move it up. Crossfield, beautiful pass by Alberto for Jungle. Coming in on Counts, cuts to center. Jungle loses the handle on a nice poke check by Counts. Jungle in the corner with 4:54 left to go in the first quarter. The drive knocked away by Danny Counts. 15 seconds in the Baltimore man advantage.
Baltimore just has not been able to take advantage of this 2-minute penalty. They haven't been able to organize their attack, and I'm afraid that time will pass without them getting a good shot on goal.
Val D'Souza outside Liverich. The drive rips off the windows. The rebound met by Laszlo Harshani. DeRico's out of the box, steals the pass away. Arrows with a break. DeRico leads Jungle, racing with Counts. Jungle number 7 along the boards, battling number 8 Danny Counts. Jungle looks cross field, waiting for some support. And he goes outside for Megaludis. 4:15, so the Arrows weather the storm. Baltimore unable to capitalize on their man advantage. You're watching game 1 of the semifinals from the Checkerdome in St. Louis.
Danny Counts, a very important part of this Baltimore team. Right now, he's matched up with Steve Jungle until Neil Cohen has a chance to come on and take his shift.
Jungle tries to work the back heel, backdoor give and go with Alberto. That doesn't work, and Val D'Souza's there for Baltimore. 3 minutes, 48 seconds left to go, first quarter. Danny Counts for the Blast, taken away by Damir Satevsky. Satevsky moves into Baltimore real estate at center. He's got Jungle left, finds him with a pass behind the play. Jungle falls down, unable to control. That allows Baltimore to move upfield, up a man. Laszlo Harshani, another former Arrow, crossfield for Crossley. Crossley, marked by Marcantonio. In the slot to Souza. The drive, stopped over the glass by Messing.
Very good shot from approximately 40-45 feet out by Val de Souza. He's a defender. He comes up. I think he scored 13 goals on the season for Baltimore, and he's a key. One of the problems that Baltimore has is putting the ball in the back of the net. So a key is going to be some of the additional players besides Crossley, Liverich, and Danny Counts, their three top goal getters. Somebody else has to take some of that brunt and put it getting shots on goal.
Waiting for Baltimore to decide who they want on the field. It looks like Collins, D'Souza, Liverich, Bud, and Crossley. The arrows go Segota, Satevsky, Megaludis, Marcantonio, Gugurev.
Look for a set play here.
Segota pokes it away off the corner kick by Crossley. Quickly, the arrows move out of their own defensive third. Segota racing with John Collins. Segota coming in right side. Lets it go. Slapped down by Gattenhammer. No one there in red, white, and blue for the rebound. And Paul Crossley is there for Baltimore. Met by Satevsky at the midfield line. A little push and shove, and Baltimore maintains control. 3 minutes left to go first quarter. Arrows lead it 1-0 on a goal by Megaludis at 2:52 of quarter number 1. Gattenhammer gets it out to the midfield line. Baltimore unable to get it with authority. Now the arrows pick up the loose ball. Here's Megaludis, the goal scorer. Nicky coming in, working on D'Souza. They go to the corner, banged off the board, still is loose. Crossley there, slides it back for Gattenhammer, who pounces on the loose ball.
The two people we really haven't mentioned so far is Zeb Gattenhammer and Shep Messing. They're the two guys at far ends of the field. We don't see them too often. When we do see them, they are critical. The two goalkeepers, both of them have got to have an outstanding game to keep their teams in this match.
And you and I have been talking about how critical the first quarter is so far, in whose favor?
Well, after that first goal, Baltimore slowed down a bit. Certainly the first 5 minutes belonged to Baltimore. They came out composed, but then the goal unsettled them a bit. And then their inability to take advantage of that penalty situation, I think, hurt them. But now they're a team that doesn't give up. They come back. And as this game continues, they're going to establish their rhythm. I look for Baltimore to begin to become a little more firm in their attack in the second quarter.
Well, we've got a penalty called here against New York. It was made by Jeff Mantell, the alternate. And Freddie Gugurev and John Collins will both sit down. Dual penalties coming up for New York and Baltimore, so both teams will play less a man, so they'll go 4 aside, less the goalkeepers, with 2 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The arrows will start out this with Satevsky, Segota, Carmen Marcantonio, Mike Uremovich. It's Crossley, Polahan, Counts, and Liverich for Baltimore.
With 2:07 to go in the quarter, Baltimore will finish with a man advantage here.
Beautiful weather outside St. Louis, 70 degrees. A sunny day today, as there were just hundreds of major indoor soccer league officials huddling around the lobby of the hotel. Everyone waiting anxiously to see what the outcome of these semifinal games are. It's New York and Baltimore, St. Louis and Wichita. Crossley coming in left side, Uremovich guarding him. Crossley races away, shot saved by Messing. So far, Shep showing no ill effects for that right knee problem that he's been having. Segota tries to pull the handle back from Counts. He's got help from Satevsky. Another whistle made by Jeff Mantell, the alternate, going in favor of Baltimore. Crossley dumped on the play. There's Ken Cooper, head coach of the Blast, having gone 21-19 on the season.
And you know, there's some conjecture right there that man, Kenny Cooper, should be the coach of the year. Certainly has done an outstanding job.
Baltimore takes it in the New York zone. We have 1:32 left to go first quarter. Here's Liverich. Arrows lead it 1-0. Liverich lays it off for Crossley. Deflected into the corner by Marcantonio. And Shep plays it on the rebound. 1:15 in the dual penalties to Collins and Gugurev. Must have been an altercation that I missed.
Well, the two of them were going at each other a little bit, and the referees felt that the best way to stop it at the time is to penalize both of them. And this is one way of telling the players that that kind of behavior will not be tolerated.
These two teams came out smoking. Here's Segota coming in. The drive hits the post. Rebound out for Liverich. Young Segota, only 19 in his third MISL season, missed by inches.
Bronco got away that time with his great speed, but God went to make that real fine shot into the corner and just hit the post. But a good opportunity that didn't connect.
Here's Val Tuksha engineering the New York attack. Crossing the midfield line. He's met by Polahan, but lays it off for Segota. Segota's got Satevsky in the slot, but Demir slowed up, and Segota couldn't get the pass to him. Gattenhammer rifles one, intercepted by Marcantonio. Slides it through the slot, Satevsky for New York.
Al, one of the raps with Phoenix was that they did not play good defense. Certainly the first quarter, one of the reasons why New York is winning is because they're playing very good defense. They're stepping up and intercepting passes.
Tuchia goes to the top of the arc, marked tightly by Palahan. Segota with some space. Arrows with a 3-on-2 advantage. Shot, goal! Foul. Tuchia slides it under Sepp Gattenhammer. And Tuchia's got his second goal of the playoffs, and with only 14 seconds left to go in the first quarter, the Arrows lead it 2-0.
Again, the big guns are the ones that everybody's looking for. Here we can see the other guys coming into the picture. Now notice this, that the ball comes up to Branco, and I think Jimmy Palahan go, no, Tuchia got a piece of it. But now I think Branco looks to go one-on-one. He really miscues the ball. The ball comes to Tuchia, first-time shot in the back of the net.
Timely goal for New York. We have 14 seconds left in the first quarter and a break in the action. We'll be back in St. Louis right after this. Dome in St. Louis, head coach of Baltimore, Ken Cooper, talking things over with the troops. After 15 minutes of MISL semifinal action, the Arrows have a 2-0 lead. The first goal, a brilliant unassisted effort by Megaludis at 2:52, and the second with only 14 seconds left to go in the first quarter. So Segota leads Val Tuchia, and the Arrows have a 2-0 lead, and Kenny Cooper wants to change all that. We'll see if he can when we return to the Checkerdome in St. Louis right after this message. Back in St. Louis, Mark Liverich with a very good opportunity against Shep Messing, but Shep stopped him. Shep Messing defends the goal right. Sepp Gattenhammer left. We're just underway in quarter number 2. 33 seconds gone by. Franz St. Lot, the victim of a whistle, as the Arrows start the second quarter with Jungle, St. Lot, Strenisser, Megaludis, and Gugurev. Baltimore going with Mangione, Liverich, Harshani, Cohen, and Collins. Gattenhammer left, Messing is right. And so the call goes against Baltimore and not New York. Arrows leading at 2-0. I'm Al Troutwig along with Nick Slatar. Jungle coming in. Inside, sliding kick attempted by Gugurev, and he could not get it.
Very important here for Baltimore to get back into the game, maintain pressure. They came out, Mark almost got a goal for them, but they've got to come back and maintain the pressure on New York. They cannot take a third goal here and fall back, well, by 3.
Franz St. Lot spins away from Mark Liverich. 14 minutes left to go, second quarter. Megaludis and Tuchia, the New York Arrows goals, they lead it 2-0. Whichever team wins here, they go on to play the winner of the St. Louis-Wichita game. Franz St. Lot has lost his shoe. He's upended by Cohen at the midfield line. This will be a 2-minute penalty. Franz St. Lot was spun in the air on a vicious tackle by Cohen. He'll go off for 2, and it will be Baltimore now defending against the New York Arrow power play. They were 4th in the league in that category. St. Lot had lost his shoe by the red line. The ball was loose on the pass from Jungle. St. Lot ran over to pick it up. Now you'll get a chance to see what happened here.
Well, Franz isn't sure if this is a pass or what. He comes in. Now look, Neil. Neil comes in very strong, whereas Franz does not. A little tentative. It's first foot of the ball that owns the ball. Neil came in very strong, but this is the left leg, the knee that Franz has had problems since the middle of the season. And it looks like he got kicked on the side of the leg. So it's not a joint, rather than a contusion to a muscle. So I think he'll be back. But it's certainly here. It's at the time.
We have 13:45 left to go in the first half and a break in the action. We'll be back in St. Louis right after this. Back at the Checkerdome in St. Louis, Arrows on the man advantage for the next minute. Great opportunity by Steve Jungle, stopped on the goal line on a brilliant shot, but Baltimore is pushing forward. They've had a couple of chances to take shots on Messing. Here's Luis Alberto, who's teamed up with Gugurev, Megaludis, Segota, and Jungle. Palahan ahead for Brian Budd. 40 seconds left in the Arrow power play. Baltimore doing a miraculous job here of stopping the New York attack. Budd plays it off the boards, comes inside, shot high off the glass, saved by Messing. Rips it out for Fred Gugurev. Arrows with a 3-on-2 break.
Well, we saw the same thing before of New York getting the having the man advantage but killing the clock, and now Baltimore's doing the same thing.
Val Tuchia tangles with Danny Counts at the midfield line. They battle, they tug, they scrape, and Counts comes up with it. The crowd here, pro-Baltimore, by the way, cheering for the blast. Counts saved by Messing. Tuchia corrals the rebound. 11:45 left to go, quarter number 2, and now both teams are at even strength. So Baltimore has weathered the storm.
So even though both teams said there have been 3 penalty situations so far in the game, nobody has been able to take advantage of him. Freddie Gray is limping off the team, and that certainly will be a tremendous blow should New York lose him.
Counts coming in, lays it for Mangione, and he couldn't catch up with it on the lead pass left wing. Alberto sends it out for Broncos Segota. Segota leads it for Tuchia. 2-on-1 break New York. He's got Jungle left. Tuchia coming in, tackled away by Palahan. Shot just goes wide. What a shot by Segota.
A second great opportunity for New York that was thwarted by Jimmy Palahan. He took one off the line at that time, did a good job to get back on defense.
Tuchia's drive slapped away by Gattenhammer. To the corner for Palahan. Out to the red line, kept in by Satevsky. Satevsky gets it by Palahan, but Tuchia doesn't see it as he's trying to get off. Tuchia will have to stay on now to defend against Mark Liverich and Danny Counts, who lead the Baltimore attack. Dorico tackles the ball away from Liverich. They both go down, but Collins is there. Liverich back up. The drive, that goes wide. Out for Segota on the rebound. And now Val Tuchia. The defending champions across the midfield line. Segota splitting the defense. Here comes Bronco. The drive, saved by Gattenhammer. Jungle header wide. And Cohen knocks it to the corner. 2 great shots by New York.
Well, Bronco got in with his great speed, allow him to run by 2 defenders, and then he towed it. Just got his toe into the ball to get the shot off. But Zepp did well to return it.
Well, the Blast need a great game from Gattenhammer. So far, they're getting it. Collins to the corner for Counts, the workhorse of Baltimore, also the captain. His pass outside, stolen away by New York. Uremovich beaten to the ball by the quick Crossley. Coming in, shot, saved by Messling. Shep's been coming up with some big saves at the other end of the field. Now
Baltimore has some created very good scoring opportunities for themselves, but the credit has to be given to the goalkeeping and the defenders of New York for the reason that Baltimore is not on the boards as yet.
Now Crossley picks up a loose ball, shifts into high gear, moves into the New York zone, plays it off the board, shot off the glass, rebound out to New York. Satevsky back for David Dorico.
But, you know, Baltimore still has not gotten into the rhythm of play, the way that we've gotten used to see them play. And I'm just wondering if the 12-day layoff since the last game against Cleveland, and if that has taken a little bit away from their rhythm of playing, from their style that they're normally used to.
Well, there's 2 schools of thought. Either it's a great rest or it takes you out of the rhythm, as you said. Now Liverich again, poked away by New York. The MISL releasing their all-league teams over the past week. On the first team for New York, Messing, Jungle, Segota, and Dorico. Baltimore with Gattenhammer on the honorable mention, and Palahan's second team. We'll show you the entire team later in the telecast. Nikitovich bangs one off the board. Jungle is there, has a back heel for St. Lot, doesn't go with it. Up in the air, loose inside, and Gattenhammer pounces on the loose ball. Neil Cohen doing a super job marking Steve Jungle. Long lead pass off the boards. Megaludis bangs it off the windows. Here's Geerling, the native St. Louis, and shot just misses. 8:15 left to go first half. Arrows 2, Blast nothing. Geerling missed by inches to the far post.
In fact, that ball was going. He had the back of the net all figured out, but it just last minute curved out of the way. Not a bad way for Dan Geerling to say hello to his hometown folks here.
Baltimore, a tremendous work rate so far in the game. Messing slaps it away from...
That's Louis Nagy.
That was Nagy into the corner. Knocked down by Megaludis. A brilliant play on the goal line. New York races the other way. D'Souza running after Segota. Shot saved by Gattenhammer. Gagarev shot goes wide. Slapped out by Sepp again. Amazing exchanges. Goal line to goal line. Loose in front. Goal! A crazy play, and it goes in favor of New York. They now lead it 3-0, and Sepp Gattenhammer is really upset. It was Louis Nagy who at the other end had a fabulous opportunity. Megaludis stopped the shot. Now watch this weird exchange.
Mangione plays it back. Zepp is not there. A little bit of confusion. You can see the frustration. A very poor goal to take at this point. See, Louis thinks that he can play it back, but Zepp is out of the box. He and Jimmy Palahan get in each other's way. So I think Branko Segota will be given credit for the 3rd goal for New York, but certainly a very inopportune time to take that self-goal by Baltimore. And unless they do something in the next couple minutes, 7:33 to go here in the second quarter, And we have a very timely timeout call by that man right there, Kenny Cooper. This team has got to get out of their doldrums. And I'm really getting convinced that the 12-day layoff did not help them.
Well, it was an unfortunate turn of events. Palahan trying to help out Sepp Gattenhammer. And in helping him out, he knocked the ball into the net. And so the Arrows have a 3-0 lead with 7:33 left to go in the first half. The time of that goal, 7:27. So Segota has one, Tuksha has one, Megaludis has one. And right now we're going to take a look at the all-league teams released by the MISL as we pan the Checkerdome in St. Louis. The 10 largest crowds ever to see the MISL have been here. The St. Louis Steamers averaging over 15,000. There's the first team. Shep Messing of New York, Steve Jungle of New York, Bronco Segota, and David Dorico. Ian Anderson of Cleveland, Steve Petcher, and Tony Glavin of St. Louis.
And it's interesting that only Ian Anderson will not be seen in this tournament.
Second team, Jim Palahan of Baltimore. An honorable mention, you would have seen Sepp Gattenhammer, the goaltender for Baltimore. What do you think psychologically that last goal will do to the Blast?
Well, I think they're going to recover. That was a very, very good call by the coach. He called a timeout. One of the key things that he wanted to do is get there to make sure that his team got their heads back into this game. So I think that they're going to play. This team has tremendous courage, tremendous heart, and they're going to come back.
Almost a fabulous shot by Freddie Gray in the penalty area. The shot was taken by Megaludis. The rebound came out, and it almost rolled under the body of Gattenhammer.
And that, I think, answered the question right there. The concentration for Sepp is back. He's ready to play the goal, save the goal, even after that misfortunate third goal.
6:45 left to go. First half, Arrows 3, Baltimore nothing. Palahan steals it away from the racing Segota, and now Steve Jungle will come back on for New York. Laszlo Harshani for the Blast. Slides it over for Val D'Souza. D'Souza coming in slowly in the slot for Harshani. Met by Nikitovic and taken away for New York. Dragan Nikitovic gets by, 2-on-1 break for New York. He's got Gagarev all open right side. Nikitovic shot, hits the post. Gagarev off the glass, loose in the penalty area, saved by Gattenhammer. Another crazy bounce off the boards. Liverich tries to play it to himself, but Marcantonio beats him there and moves it back for Messing.
Nikitovic was a thunderous left foot. Was unlucky not to get a goal. It hit the inside of the post that time and came back to Freddie Gagarev.
Gagarev just missed off the post. Rebound almost to the red line. D'Souza crossfield for Liverich.
And I think we may detect a little bit of panic in Baltimore's play here.
Liverich, kick save, Messing loose in the air, knocked out, and it will go into the crowd. Almost for Baltimore. Great save by Shep, and it will be an indirect free kick. Coming up for the Blast, about 10 feet inside the New York zone. Shep Messing. Some people say he had his best year ever this past season in the MISL. Shep certainly did well in the one-loss column, having gone 21-3 during the regular season. There you see the arithmetic in favor of New York. They lead Baltimore by a score of 3-0 with 5:45 left to go first half. Al Troutwig, Nick Slatar from the Gateway City, St. Louis, Missouri. The action coming to you from the Checkerdome. Luis Alberto slides it ahead for Segota, but Baltimore drops back to intercept. Seppi beaten just minutes ago on a fluke goal. He gives it away to Alberto high in the air. Jungle slapped out by Gattenhammer. Who would you say has controlled the game for the most part?
So far, it has been certainly New York. Baltimore has had a couple spurts, but they have not been able to maintain the intensity of their play. And although they've created a number of opportunities, New York has come up and they've played quicker. They've stopped them. They've intercepted passes.
Well, there's an intercepted pass by Collins, but the Arrows get it back. Segota coming in, slides it inside. Jungle, goal! Beautiful one-touch passing by New York. They lead the Blast by a count of 4-0. Find the open man. It applies in basketball. It applies here.
Well, these two teams have faced each other 6 times during the regular season. Only one of the games was a runaway. Here we see Val Tuksha. It was a 3-on-2. Plays it wide to Bronco. Bronco draws Neil Cohen over to him and then passes it to his teammate to the far side. Diving, Sepp Gattenhammer goes to it, but tucks it away to the near post. See, again, the key is drawing the defense to his side, switching the field of play to the other side, underneath the crossbar, and into the net. 4th goal. Now let's see if Baltimore, it's imperative that they get back here on the scoreboard, if nothing else, but just to break the ice.
Well, the backup goalkeeper for Baltimore, and you wonder, in a game like this, do you pull your goalkeeper after he's been rattled for 4 goals early in a game? Well, if you're thinking that way, Christopher Carroll's the backup goalkeeper for Baltimore, so limited action this year. Certainly Sepp is the experienced indoor soccer player. He was the first player to sign a Baltimore Blast contract.
I think it's a little much too premature for that. One of the things that Baltimore has got to do is get back on defense. The first goal by Nicky Migaludis was scored because there weren't too many people back home playing the D. This last one was scored the same way. So let's make sure we take care of the defense first, and then the goals will come.
4 minutes, 38 seconds left to go, first half. Neil Cohen slides it along the boards, and now Baltimore's got to forget about the defensive stature, as you said, and now push forward.
Yes, but you cannot push forward at the expense of defense. Make sure that they don't score the 5th one, and then you'll get your 1st one.
Well, Neil Cohen, the quarterback for Baltimore, racing along the boards with Segota. Bangs one off the MISL logo, hits the post, saved by Shep. Messing made a big save on the doorstep.
And again, Lady Luck. Lady Luck, you've got to have her on your side when you're in the championships, when they play in the playoffs. One game takes it all.
Segota banks it off the boards. Jungle missed on the run. And now Mangione, the speedy Baltimore Blast player, ahead for Nagy. Nagy to the corner, marked by Tuksha, tackled away. D'Souza's there, crossfield back for Mangione. Arrows lead it 4-0. This is the first of 2 semifinal games that will take place at the Checkerdome. The second one, St. Louis and Wichita. These 4 teams battling for the right to play in the championship Sunday afternoon. It's a weekend of Final Fours across this country. Strenisser on the crossfield pass from Jungle. Gino coming in, shot off the rebound. Mangione is there.
But then again, New York had created a 2-against-1 situation with Gene Strinitzer, the defender, moving up. The defenders of New York have been critical, with Migaludis and Tuksha getting goals in the first quarter. So important to have defenders that can go forward and score for you in the indoor game.
Leverett, shot blocked by Tuksha. The slow roller comes to the near side for Crossley. 3 minutes left to go in the first half. Liverich high off the windows. That went high. Crossley bangs one off the boards, and that is golfed up to the crowd by Val D'Souza, who had a wide open shot at Shep.
You got to make him save that. You know, even if you don't score, put it on the net. That's the first objective of shooting. Val D'Souza, defender, he's one of those defenders that can get forward and put it in the net. That time got a little bit too much underneath the ball and send it all the way up to the top crowds.
You surprised at all by the way the game's gone so far?
I am. I didn't think that it would be a 4-goal difference with 2:51 to go in the second quarter. I thought perhaps 2 goals maximum difference at this point. And I'm a little bit surprised. That's why I begin to think that perhaps it's the layoff that's causing the disruption in the Baltimore rhythm. We saw the same thing in the first game, New York-Phoenix.
Just a slight, subtle buzz emanating from the large Checkerdome crowd. The team that they've been cheering for, the Baltimore Blast, trail at 4-0. They're probably hoping that their cheers will go to the rescue of the St. Louis Steamers in the second game, which follows this one. 2 minutes, 23 seconds left to go first half. 4-0. The defending champions leading the Baltimore Blast. And if any team knows the formula to defeat New York, it is the Blast. They did it twice on the Arrows' home ground. Shot and a goal from way outside, Nikitovich. 5-0. With 2:11 left to go in the first half, the Arrows break open a 5-0 lead.
Dragan Nikitovich, number 3 for New York. Great left-footed player. He does it all. He's very happy to get his first goal in the playoffs. See again, great power, far side. I don't think anyone, including Zeppi, didn't expect him to shoot from approximately 50, 55 feet out. The ball crosses the red line. Jungle does a run from behind the ball, tucks it away, and the ball curls away from Zepp from, again, approximately 55. Sheer power, although the ball had very good accuracy, but I really would want Zepp to save those.
Well, Dragan Nikitovich showing the tremendous power that comes off his left foot. The time of the goal, 12:49. The assist to Steve Jungle, and the Arrows now have a 5-0 lead. Well, the conversation in the Baltimore locker room should prove interesting at halftime.
I think we're going to see a second game in the second half. This does not happen to Baltimore.
Mark Liverich coming in. The drive knocked down by DeRico. Out for Crossley. 1:34 left to go first half. Headed away by Uremovich. Satevsky corrals it on the ricochet off the wood. Now Satevsky wheeling around in his own defensive third. You're watching the Major Indoor Soccer League finish out year 3 from the Checkerdome in St. Louis. You see the banners on the sideboards, the championship series. That's what this is. A weekend of indoor soccer in St. Louis. Steve Jungle back for David DeRico. Arrows playing a little bit of keep away here.
Well, they can well afford. With less than a minute to go in the second quarter, they can make Baltimore chase the ball, get tired, and when the opportunity is right, get into the attack, as is the case now.
Jungle taken down by Liverich. And a foul called against Liverich. He didn't like the call. It will be an indirect free kick. Obstruction is the reason for the whistle by Bill Maxwell, the referee. And Liverich is going to sit down and cool off. Nope, it's going to stay on. Steve Jungle will check off for New York. Freddie Gray will go back on. Freddie was a little upset when he was called off the field a couple of minutes ago. And need a little encouragement to go on the field. But the referee says New York cannot make substitutions on the free kick. They've got to wait for a dead ball situation. Here's Jungle for Cohen. Marked by Cohen, rather. Out for Satevsky, getting by Crossley. Satevsky bangs it off the boards inside Jungle. Loose in the corner, and Cohen is there. 38 ticks of the clock remaining first half. Arrows 5, Baltimore nothing. Satevsky getting by 1, 2 blast players. Coming in, Jungle, save by Gattenhammer. Great save by Sepp. Jungle still with the ball, cutting left, off the boards, no one there. And Collins knocks it back for Gattenhammer. 15 seconds left to go first half. Regrouping time for the blast in the locker room at halftime. Baltimore, Harshani off the windows, header, save by Shep. Messing with a big save, having gone from the near post to the far post in a split second. And the buzzer sounds to end the first half at the Checkerdome.
David DeRico checking with Shep after that save as to whether or not his knee is holding up. He says, yes, it's fine, although it did hurt him a little bit. But a very, very opportune time for Shep to make the save.
30 minutes gone by, 30 more minutes left to go in the semifinal of the Major Indoor Soccer League. After a half an hour of play, it's the Arrows 5, the Baltimore Blast nothing. We'll be back right after this.
A $250 scholarship is at stake with each session, and a winner has a chance to go to the finals. All in all, a total of $10,000 in scholarship prizes will be awarded. It's the Skull Happy Days Soccer Shootout. Hi, I'm Shep Messing. Watch as the top area college soccer players try to score against me.
We're at halftime. Al Troutwig along with Shep Messing, who's wearing a tie, and you might ask why. I'll explain it to you. We're here to award the top 3 men's finishers in the Skull Happy Days Shootout, a competition that you've seen for the past 9 weeks here on Channel 11. And Shep, this is a culmination on the part of these guys, a lot of hard work, a lot of skill, and a lot of excitement that we've seen in these shootouts.
We had a tremendous amount of competition. Overall, 100 people took part in the halftime competitions, and we'll get back to these winners. They performed the finals, for those of you who missed it, on Channel 11 before 14,000 people, and it came down right to the wire.
And a lot of the guys had to beat you, and that's no easy chore.
Well, as you said, I'm wearing a shirt and tie today. I prefer wearing a goalkeeping jersey, but we thought it was an exciting competition.
It's gone on for a number of weeks. Over 100 people have participated, men and women alike, and we have 2 out of the 3 top players from Hofstra. A lot of local talent, and I think Hofstra University's head coach Kenny Germano, who we'll meet in a few seconds, has a lot to be proud of.
Well, I don't know if they did something special, but Hofstra University did very well. They came in first place overall, and they also had a man come in third place, and maybe some of that is due to their coach, Kenny Germano. We'll hear from him in a few seconds.
Kenny, why don't you introduce the 2 winners that we have here?
Okay, Al, to my left, we have Mike Bordeaux. We call him Frenchie, and to Shep's right, Nick Mananakis. And Mike took third, and Nick is the overall champion.
Shep, why don't you make the presentations and tell everybody what these guys have won?
Well, I know silverware is always a pleasant experience for an athlete to pick up, but with this plaque, Mike, $500 towards your college scholarship for finishing in third place. Tack that on to the $250 you won earlier, a total of $750. Congratulations. Nick had a lot of pressure on him. came down. He was shooting, I think, in the final position, and he ended up sticking in 3 out of 4 goals. And for that performance, under pressure, 14,000 people watching, that's first place in this Goal Happy Days College Scholarship Shootout, and a total of $1,500 for this trophy, Mike. And the trophy looks good, but I'm sure that $1,500 is going to go to good use as well. Congratulations.
Let me ask you guys, what do you think it took as far as a skill level to go as far as you did? First, Nick?
Well, I was just, I was just practicing a lot of shooting, and I just tried to put it off Mickey.
And you?
Well, Nick and I were practicing together a lot in the gym. We were practicing some turns while we were dribbling, but we concentrated mostly on the shooting because dribbling without scoring isn't awful much.
All right, Kenny, exactly what did you do as coach, do you think, for these guys? What type of drills or skills, or what did you do to give these guys the opportunity? 2 out of the top 3, it's quite impressive.
Well, our goalkeeper, John Sarro, set up a goal for them along the wall, and we marked out spots, kind of had an idea of where to shoot. Again, the shootout incorporated all the aspects of soccer. You had pressure of time and space, and you also had pressure of opponent with the goalkeeper. They had to change speed, they had to change direction, and they had to stop and look up and shoot a ball against the goalkeeper. So there was a lot of difficulty. It looked simple from the stands, but get down there on the floor, and like Shep said, in front of 14,000 people, it's an awful lot of pressure.
So you actually practiced for this?
So they did. After the first round, they saw that they had a good opportunity. After they watched all the competition, they kind of went to most of the games, saw most of the shootouts, and figured they had a good opportunity. If they got into the final round, they were really going to give it their all, and they did. And luckily, they came out on top.
Gentlemen, thank you very much and congratulations. Let's not leave out Errol McDonald of Stony Brook, who was the second place winner who could not make it here to Madison Square Garden. Shep, I think the people at U.S. Tobacco have a lot to be proud of, and I think this program might have a bright future.
Well, it was that first year, and we're pleased to be involved in college soccer, and I think these young men exemplify the future of pro soccer in this country. It was a tremendous competition. They did well under pressure, and my sincere congratulations to both of you.
All right, Shep's a frustrated broadcaster in his own right, and he promised that he would like to say something here, so let her go.
Alan, I've always wanted to say this. I love it at the end. For Alan Trotwig, Ken Germano, our competitors, this is Shep Messing saying, sit back, relax, stay tuned, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Shep Messing for Smokeless Tobacco.
I love soccer, and I love tobacco, but I don't light up. I get my tobacco pleasure the smokeless way, and so can you. With mild, easy-to-use Happy Days. It's a smokeless tobacco with a great fresh mint flavor. Just a little pinch between your cheek and gum is all it takes. The best part of going smokeless? It's really relaxing. Try some.
Checkerdome in St. Louis. We'll watch the Arrows' 5th goal of the game. Dragan Nikitovic from way outside beating Sepp Gattenhammer on the assist from Steve Jungle. 12:49 was the time as we're set to go for the second half as the Arrows lead it by a score of 5-0. And certainly, Nick, Baltimore's got to make a couple of changes.
Well, again, the changes have to be mental ones. They have to be desire, motivation, and intensity of play. This is a team that has gotten into this playoff situation with their hard work rather than their superstars. They have to go what's been working for them for the entire season.
Jungle quickly takes it into the Baltimore zone. Shot off the boards, deflected by Collins. Alberto corrals the rebound, knocked out by Cohen. Arrows go with Dorico Tuchis to go to Alberto Jungle. It's Cohen and Collins for Baltimore on defense. Liverich counts, and Nick Mangione up front. Here's Segota coming in for New York. Cuts to the corner. Bangs one off the boards. Jungle overran the play. Couldn't catch up on the rebound. And now Neil Cohen's the quarterback for the Blast. 3-on-2 for Baltimore. Cohen at center. Counts cuts in front of him. I think Danny should have stayed wide open on the right side. The Arrows control the loose ball. 14:20 left to go, third quarter. Al Troutwig, Nick Slatar, we're coming to you from the Checkerdome in St. Louis.
But the key has been how slowly the attack was established by Baltimore versus how fast the New York players got back. Baltimore had a 3v2, and before you knew it, 2 other New York players came back, and they got the numerical superiority. Now they're just playing keep away, getting some space for themselves in front of the goal by drawing the Baltimore defense to come out and chase them. With a 5-goal lead, Baltimore has got to go at them.
This game started out like gangbusters. In the first minute of this game, it looked like it was going to be a rock'em sock'em game, and then things kind of quieted down a little bit. And as Ray made an observation, Baltimore looked stunned as the Arrows have exploded for a 5-0 halftime lead. Underway in the third. Here's Jimmy Polahan. His shot deflected by Dorico, who falls down, recovers, and stays with it. pushing, jostling. Palahan wins the battle eventually. Now for Danny Counts, marked by Val Tuksha.
The first one is the hardest to get, Al. They need to get and break the ice here. And I think after that, it maybe get to flow for them a little bit better.
Arrows in the dark blue uniforms, red and white trim. Baltimore, their road whites with yellow and orange. Shep Messing in goal to the left side. Sepp Gattenhammer in goal to the right side. Here's Tuksha on a 2-on-1. Jungle's wide open left side. Here it is. Beautiful recovery by John Collins to tackle the ball away.
Again, we saw two New York players attacking Neil Cohen. That's that transition game, not getting back and playing defense.
Both goalkeepers making super saves in the first half. Sepp needs a little bit more cooperation from his defenders. Drive by Palahan, slap save by Messing. To the boards goes Segota. Met by D'Souza, who wins the ball. Palahan slides it for Livrich. Drives to the corner for Mangione. Shot saved by Messing right through the penalty area. D'Souza in the corner, marked by Tuksha again. 12.5 left to go, third quarter. Here's D'Souza coming in, in front, just goes wide off the shot by Counts. Messing looks hurt. Messing is down in the penalty area. Looks like his knee buckled underneath him. Shep slowly getting back to his feet and limping noticeably. The backup goalkeeper for New York is Zoltan Toth, who's had a sciatic problem in his back.
And Zoltan has started to move on the bench. Don't be surprised, Al, if we see Zoli coming in very quickly.
Shep holding his right knee, trying to stay up. Livrich, kick save by Messing. And Shep is slow and getting up again. And a timeout New York, as the Arrows trainer Bobby Baldwin goes out on the field to look at Shep Messing. We have 11 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the third quarter and a break in the action with the Arrows leading Baltimore 5-0. We'll take a break and return you to St. Louis right after this. Head coach Don Popovich has elected to keep Shep Messing in the lineup, and Baltimore will try to test him. D'Souza inside, tackled away by Strenicer, knocked away by Segota. Baltimore seems to have come out a little bit fired up here in the third quarter, and well, they have to. The Arrows lead the Baltimore Blast 5-0. This is a one-game elimination. You lose, you're out. There is no tomorrow for the loser of this game, as will there be no tomorrow for the loser of the Wichita-St. Louis game. The winners will play Sunday afternoon right here at the Checkerdome for the third major indoor soccer league championship. The Arrows having won the first two. 11:20 left to go, third quarter. Al Troutwig, Nick Zlatar, Checkerdome, St. Louis. Now Paul Crossley. The elder statesman of Baltimore, a long pass knocked away by Nick Megaludis. Nicky's playing the best soccer I've seen him play in the playoffs this season. D'Souza coming in. Segota lays off inside. A sidewinder attempted by Nagy. Ball comes out to the near side for Mangione. Volleys it ahead for D'Souza. Back for Mangione. The speedy running in, coming inside, banged off the boards. Header by Crossley, off the glass. Jungle back for Messing.
Certainly Baltimore has had opportunities, but Lady Luck has not smiled on them thus far. Shep Messing back in the game after the trainers and the trainers Magic Sponge did a little bit of work, but New York is really looking good, moving. They're fired up. Baltimore still a little bit tentative.
Now the Blast control in their own defensive third. Every time they move upfield, they've got to be thinking goal. They have to break the ice. That first goal will loosen them up. Val D'Souza. Meanwhile, it's tough to do against the league-leading defense, the New York Arrows. Livrich coming in, a blast off the glass, slapped out with a little help from Messing. Nikitovic goes high in the air with Palahan. Nikitovic spins, is back to Palahan, then loses the handle.
And one of the key important factors that we haven't mentioned so far is the depth of New York. Sure, Segota and Jungle have notched a goal each, but Megaludis, Tuksha, Nikitovic, not your typical stars that get all the ink for the New York Arrows that have made the difference in this game. The defense, Shep Messing, and the support cast is the story here.
Who would have thought that the Arrows would have 5 different goal scorers in their first 5 goals of this game? Livrich off the boards, tries to get his own rebound.
Especially in the first 22 goals of the playoff series, 21 of them were scored by Grigorev, Segota, and Jungle.
Jungle racing with Neil Cohen. Cohen backs up on Jungle, gives him some space. Steve rolling over the ball, looking for a back heel. Satevsky high off the glass, didn't miss by much. D'Souza picks up the ricochet off the windows. 9:14 left to go, third quarter. Arrows 5, Baltimore nothing. Just about 6 minutes gone by in chapter 3 of the game. Grigurev, crossfield for Nikitovich. Nice sliding tackle by Palahan. He's got some room. Palahan coming in, slides it inside, broken up by Franz St. Lot. St. Lot now moves New York out of their own defensive third. Nikitovich, back for St. Lot. Grigurev wide open right side. St. Lot deking around counts. Finds Freddie coming in. The drive high up in the air off the save by Jatin, and he grabs it.
Again, the running game for New York is working. When they run, no one can keep up with them. And it's just sheer hard work that Baltimore has to put in to stop that running game.
Baltimore goes with Collins, Counts, Geerling, Liverich, and Mangione. Counts at center. His shot deflected by Strenisser. Off the boards, Liverich. Have we seen Laszlo Harshani yet in the third quarter?
Not yet.
Branko Segota now in control for New York. We'll see what types of changes in the lineups that Kenny Cooper, the head coach of Baltimore, can come up with. Liverich. Marked by Franz St. Lot. Liverich, the drive right on Shep Messing. He knocks it down on the save. Rifles it up to the midfield line for Grigurev. Backed up by Branko Segota. Now the Arrows move up on a 2-on-3 disadvantage. It's Collins, Geerling, and Mangione on defense. Juremovic brings up the back line for New York. Only 18 years old, his first year in the MISL. Juremovic back out for Branko Segota, tackled away by Mangione. Now the Arrows have to retreat all the way back for Shep Messing.
Nick Mangione doing a good job that time, not allowing Branko to turn on the ball, forcing Branko to play it back to his defense.
Grigurev marked tightly by Geerling. They call a foul against Freddie Grigurev. Holding is the call, and it will be a free kick Baltimore. 7 minutes, 27 seconds left to go, third quarter. Arrows lead the Baltimore Blast 5-0. Hope you're enjoying all the action of the Major Indoor Soccer League semifinals from the Checkerdome in St. Louis. Geerling off the whistle of Bill Maxwell, the referee. The Blast put the ball back in play. Baltimore wearing white with yellow, red, and orange trim. The Arrows wearing the home blue, red, and white uniforms. But certainly the Arrows do not have the benefit of a hometown crowd, as this Checkerdome crowd has been in favor of Baltimore all the way. Liverich in control for the Blast. His drive off the post.
Mark almost got it there. Try to sneak it around. Try to bend it around the post. Almost got it.
Danny Geerling really pressuring Grigurev. Another shot by Mark Liverich. He's taken his share of shots in this game, that's for sure.
Some of them a little bit too far out, but Mark knows that he's the top goal getter for his team. This is what they pay him for, so he's trying to get his team on the scoreboard.
Baltimore has taken a lot of shots on the season, but their efficiency in goals for shots has only been around 10%. Tuksha tackled off the play by Geerling. Battles with Mangione along the boards. Mangione hits the plywood hard. Pushing call against Tuksha, and it will be a free kick Baltimore. We have yet to have a 2-minute penalty in the third quarter as Kenny Cooper looks on. His team still looking at that 5-0 deficit on the scoreboard. 6:25 left to go, third quarter.
Well, we knew that this was going to be a bit of a game of contrast, because the question was, can the defense of Baltimore stymie the great attack of New York? So far, the answer obviously has been no.
Right through the penalty area. Outside, Geerling the drive, and that goes up to the second level here at the Dome. And it will be a New York Arrows goal kick as we go to the end zone camera, and a different look and an interesting look at the large crowd on hand here. 6 minutes, 8 seconds left to go, third quarter.
And now there are days like this. You know, here comes the ball, a well-played ball off the boards. Two Baltimore players are there. The ball goes between the two of them and finds its way to Dan Geerling, who shoots from about 25, 28 feet out.
And that's why a one-game semifinal is so tough. You have an off day, that's it.
That's it.
Certainly Baltimore can play better soccer than this. There is no question about it. They've beaten the Arrows twice this season. Games that the Arrows played fairly well in.
Well, only 5 teams have beaten the Arrows, or 5 games. 5 times have the Arrows lost. 2 of those times have been to Baltimore, and you know that's not luck.
Well, the Susan Allen control for the Blast. Goes to the corner for Crossley, up in the air, met by Tuksha of New York. Bangs it off the boards for Fred Grigurev. Freddie, who had requested to be traded somewhere near mid-season, somewhere found it within himself to stay on, and he's been one of the hottest Arrows since. Certainly in the playoffs so far, he is what I consider to be the MVP for New York. Now George Catalinus on for New York, another one of the young New York Arrows. Out for Val Tuksha. He knocks it away from Paul Crossley. Catalinus goes down hard to the turf. And a whistle called against Baltimore. It will be an indirect free kick, as obstruction is the call against the Blast. Here's a good look at George Catalinus, a young Canadian outstanding player. Certainly has the moves to be a great indoor soccer player.
Yes, he is. He was the captain of the national youth team. And now he's getting a run as a pro. Very excited about it, and especially in the playoffs. You know, it's one thing to play in a regular game, but, you know, in the playoffs, it's the best play. The coaches are putting on their best for all of the time. And you deserve that right to play the way you perform in your practice sessions.
Gattenhammer way out of the net. Mark Antonio bounds it off the boards. New York controls it again. Gugurev off the ricochet, spins and fires, deflected by Gieling. Luis Alberto in control. Alberto playing with a slight groin pull. The injury situation for Baltimore, not that serious. Tibor Molnar is out, John Barazzi. Mangione in at center. Deflected inside the penalty area. Messing is there. He bowls it out for Dragan Nikitovic. 4 minutes, 32 seconds left to go, third quarter. Alberto's crossfield pass broken up by Nagy. Messing out of the net. Mangione, long shot, stopped by Messing. Another shot, stopped by Tuchia. Great defensive communication by New York. Shep was just able to get back.
And a lot of luck, Al. Here we have a 2 for Baltimore.
I don't think so. I think it's against David Tirico.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a 2 for the advantage will be for Baltimore. Now, David Tirico goes into the box for the second time. Should he get another penal offense, he'll be out of this game with a red card.
Well, he's got a yellow card for his efforts. I didn't see what happened in the corner, but the crowd here sure did. So it'll be a power play for Baltimore. This will be the second penalty in the game against New York. Tirico went in the first time. Baltimore was unable to score. Be nice if they brought us some stat sheets, wouldn't it?
Shep talking to Mr. Referee, Bill Maxwell, getting a clarification as the captain of the Arrows. He's got the yellow band on his left arm. He wants to find out why David was sent in. Explanation is satisfactory. We're going to have a resumption of the game. 5 players plus the goalkeeper for Baltimore against 4 players plus the goalkeeper for New York. Imperative, you know, we're going to stop saying that, but if Baltimore doesn't get on the scoreboard here, 4-11, third quarter, the well is getting deeper and deeper.
All right, the power play for Baltimore.
Watch Mark Liverich coming through on this.
Harshaw takes it on the corner kick. Jungle, Alberto, Strenicer, Megaludis for New York. Here's Alberto on a break. He's met by Liverich. For Baltimore, it's Liverich, Counts, Coker, Mangione, Harshani. And now the crowd at the Checkerdome comes to life, showing their support of the Baltimore Blast. Danny Counts for Harshani. For Liverich. 3:50 left to go. Knocked down inside by Strenicer. Luis Alberto leading Jungle with a beautiful pass. Jungle plays it on the carom. Working on Liverich. Coming inside. Inside. Alberto missed. Beautiful individual effort by Steve Jungle, getting around 2 Baltimore defenders, but Alberto unable to knock it in. Now Danny Counts comes back for the Blast.
I think that ball may have caught Lewis by surprise. I'm not sure that he was ready to receive that ball.
It looked like a play in which Steve Jungle would take the shot on.
Exactly. But it was certainly a great individual effort by Steve and a great pass.
Saved by Shep off the shot by Coker. 1:02 left to go in the penalty against David Tirico. 3 minutes, 9 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Danny Counts with the ball for Baltimore. For Laszlo Harshani. Harshani goes deep into the corner and gets buried. Counts looks outside for Liverich. Liverich, the drive, the rebound, knocked down by Megaludis. He bangs it off the boards. Liverich is there. Baltimore, crisp passing around the perimeter. Harshani, inside Coker behind him. Jungle almost taken down by Coker. The Arrows stay with it. Here's Alberto, tackled away by Coker. Luis knocks it down. Baltimore looking for a handball, and now you're looking at the fabulous ball control of Luis Alberto. Out to the midfield line where Jungle battles Danny Counts. Jungle breaks away from Counts, but a whistle on the play. They call a foul against New York's Steve Jungle with 18 seconds remaining in the penalty to David Tirico. Baltimore really has yet to have a threatening shot on Shep Messing.
Well, they got a couple opportunities there. Shep responded. But New York is playing the best soccer that I've seen them play in a long, long time.
Laszlo Harshani coming in for the Blast. Danny Counts. Cuts in at center. Down low Harshani. Deflected away by Strenicer. Ball still loose. Megaludis deflected it back. Nice play by Megaludis on the goal line. It's a race for the ball again. Jungle and Liverich go sprawling. Who's the penalty on? The penalty had just expired to David Tirico, so both teams were even up for barely a second. It looks like it will be against Steve Jungle.
Yes, I think you're right, Al. The referee, number 6, Bill Maxwell, calling it. He was right there. It's a push against Mark Liverich.
Well, you be the judge. We're going to get another look at it. Steve Jungle has had only 4 penalties all year long.
Well, the key here is that if he gets past Mark, he's through. And I think there was a handball. There was a handball plus a push. And New York again, just as David Tirico was coming out, getting New York even up with the numbers. They have to go for another 2 with a man down.
Well, the Arrows just get finished killing 1 penalty, and now they've got to work on another. So Steve Jungle, who usually is a member of the penalty killing unit, is in the box for New York as the Arrows go with Gagarev, Sutevsky, Marcantonio, and Tuksha. It's Harshani, Coker, Liverich, D'Souza, and counts for Baltimore. Save by Shep. Point blank shot by Coker. The force of the shot forced Messing all the way back onto the seat of his pants. And Shep throws it across 3 lines. And it will be an indirect free kick for Baltimore at the first red line it crossed.
Well, you know, we're running out of things to say about Shep.
Coker with another good shot. That missed wide. Sutevsky deep into the corner with D'Souza. Outside for Liverich. Inside for Coker. Knocked away by Gagarev. Freddie and Coker go down. Coker was sitting on Freddie's foot. And then Freddie spun around and kicked Coker. Shot saved by Messing. All that action went unseen by Bill Maxwell, the referee. Now Tuksha is kicked by Liverich along the boards, and Liverich is going to go. Now Liverich has handled Bill Maxwell, the referee. Frustration abounding here, and tempers are flaring as Maxwell is joined by Jeff Mantell, the alternate. Meanwhile, Randy G is looking at Adi Coker, who was decked by Gagarev at the top of the penalty yard. In a sign of sportsmanship, Marcantonio of New York is helping out Coker of Baltimore. Now let's see what's going to happen here. It's going to be a 2-minute penalty against Liverich, who seemed frustrated that Coker was down at the penalty arc and retaliated against New York's Val Tuksha.
Well, Mark has gotten a 2-minute penalty for kicking. And certainly here, the key is the intensity. The ball goes high up in the air. Now it gets jammed up against the boards. We see Val Tuksha coming into the picture. See now a big tackle. Now if we watch this, Coker is on Freddie's foot. Freddie at this time trying to get away, kicks Coker. And now here comes the matchup. Mark against Tuksha. They get caught up here in the glass against the boards.
Well, I tell you what, he had to go for that.
But it's perfect. We see the referee right there. He saw it all. He's on the spot. There's no problem at all.
I'll tell you, Mark is lucky. Mark is lucky because he whirled around and actually handled Maxwell.
Yeah, oh no, but Bill is an old timer. He certainly knows how to control the game. He's done an excellent job here. The refereeing has been superb. So the intensity here, you know, it's a championship game. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. Everybody's pride, as well as the championship, is on the line. So everybody's going at 120%.
All right, let's explain the numbers a little bit. Tuksha back, Messing, loose off the boards. D'Souza goes to the corner. The referee says play on. These two teams will be even up for the next 48 seconds, at which point the Arrows will have about a 40-second power play. Sutevsky coming in, lays it off Marcantonio. Gagarev plays it on the ricochet, deep in the corner, marked by Crossley. Outside, Sutevsky. 47 seconds left to go in the third. Sutevsky is dumped, and they call a foul on D'Souza. Free kick upcoming for New York. 1:20 left to go in the Liverich penalty. 34 seconds remaining in the Jungle penalty. So it is, I don't know. We'll figure it out when the 1 penalty's expired. Marcantonio will take the free kick out for Tuksha. Val lets one go off the head of Paul Crossley, and that goes into the crowd. It will be a corner kick, New York, when we resume play. 41 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 5-0. The New York Arrows leading the Baltimore Blast, and that was the score at halftime. So in this crazy third quarter, we have not seen a goal scored, yet we've seen some super saves and a little bit of luck on the New York end of the field. Certainly you make your own breaks. Val Tuksha to the corner. Baltimore's got a battle here. They need to score and break the ice. Kattenhammer outlet for counts. Both teams are even up 4 less the goalkeepers. Here's Paul Crossley, the elder statesman of the Blast, moving in. Certainly he's the man with experience. Bangs one off the glass. Headed down by Satevsky. Tuksha goes to the corner with Crossley. Val Tuksha, one of the underrated defenders in this game. 13 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Now the Arrows have a 45-second power play. As Jungle comes back on, he's wide open at the midfield line. Now Mangione gets back to defend against him. There he is. He intercepts the pass intended for Jungle. As the buzzer sounds to end the third quarter of play. So out of the 4 chapters of the game, we've played 3. 45 minutes down, 15 minutes left to go. The Arrows lead Baltimore 5-0. Can the Blast come back? You'll only know if you stay with us when we return you to St. Louis right after this message. Back in the Checkerdome in St. Louis. The large crowd stays on hand. Al Trautwig and Nick Zlatar. Amazing thing. Baltimore outshot New York 26-8. But let's go down to Ray Klevecker. Ray, what does it look like down there?
Well, Kenny Cooper is really trying to pump him up. He's yelling and screaming, and he's slapping people on the butt, and he's trying to get him going. A little bit unlucky for Baltimore. On the other hand, New York is very poised and relaxed. I think Popovich is going to put some subs in. They were talking about using some of the subs and sort of getting ready for the Sunday afternoon game. So I think New York is looking to ice it up, and Kenny Cooper is going to throw all caution to the winds and really go this quarter.
All right, thank you, Ray Klevecker, who's down at field level. You look at the large crowd on hand here at the Checkerdome in St. Louis. They're anxiously awaiting the game following this one between the home Steamers and the Wichita Wings, the Western Division champions. So it was a tremendous shots advantage for Baltimore, unable to capitalize. They've got to be demoralized at this point.
Some of those shots from were really too far away, taken out of panic. But, you know, there are days like this in a big championship games. A team just comes out flat. And as much as Coach Kenny Cooper is trying to do, and all of the players, they're trying, but there are days when things just don't go for you.
Well, the Arrows go with Shep Messing in the nets to the right side. Mike Yuremovich, Damir Satevsky, Fred Gugurev, Branko Segota, Steve Jungle. So the Arrows really going with 4 forwards and a defender. Segota, crossfield Gugurev. Open right side inside Satevsky, broken up by Mangione, who's teamed with Palahan, Bud, and Neil Cohen. Segota inside Jungle, goal New York! Quick thinking by Branko Segota, Jungle unmarked in the penalty area. And it was, for all intents and purposes, a power play goal as Mark Liverich was just making his way out of the penalty box. And the Arrows have now broken open a 6-0 lead.
And there we see Zeb Gantenhammer, nothing for him to do again. The ball gets to the right side. Now here we see Freddie comes over, switches it way over to it's a little bit of a deflection. Neil Cohen comes to meet him all alone from approximately 12 feet out is number 7, Steve Jungle. He owns all the goal-scoring records, 241 goals during his three-year career with the New York Arrows. Averages close to 3 goals a game, tucks that one away.
If anybody ever asks you an MISL scoring trivia question, just say Steve Jungle. You'll probably be right. Jungle's 9th goal of the playoffs, assisted by Branko Segota at 38 seconds, 6-0 New York. For Steve Jungle, his 34th career playoff goal. Gugurev shot is wide. He had a wide open shot at Sepp Gantenhammer. 14 minutes left to go in regulation time. 6-0 New York.
You know, now we mentioned about the Baltimore being flat. One of the key reasons why they are flat is the excellent play of New York. They have really shut them down. They've played very high intensity, high pressure all over the field. Here they come again on quick counters. They're a team possessed. Champions going for the 3rd one in a row.
The Arrows have certainly played a crisp. I'm trying to look for more words to describe it. I'd say it was just they had an inspired effort. They played crisp indoor soccer in this particular game. Mangione's shot is wide. And I think one of the things you might see is that shot saved by Messing. Liverich, kick save, Messing. Collins couldn't control the rebound. Again, Messing comes up big. But I guess if you want to sum it up, maybe it's just the fact Baltimore seemed to be holding on to the ball a little bit longer, and the Arrows were whipping it around the outside, one-touch passing, a term you like to use.
Well, they've played much quicker with the ball as well as without the ball. They're getting into their attack quickly. That gentleman right there, Dave DeRico, has had an excellent defensive game. Shep Messing has been outstanding. The other defenders, Gino Strinitzer, Mike Yuramovich, Val Tuksha, and also I think Damir Satevsky has had a better than his average game. Branko Segota has been outstanding. Zungul has 2 goals, so it's a total team effort. Everybody's in it.
Holohan's drive deflected in front by various people. David DeRico deep into the corner now in the New York defensive third. He'll wait for someone to defend against him.
See, and now Baltimore just standing around. Both Dan Counts and Mark Leverett standing rather than coming to challenge and pressure David DeRico. They got to double up, match up on the ball, play tight pressure all over, try to win the ball, try to cause turnovers, and get into this game. We know that in the indoor game, things happen very, very quickly. So even though at this point it doesn't look like Baltimore is capable of making a comeback, 1 or 2 quick goals might give them the courage to play further.
Arrows knock it off the glass. Jungle in hot pursuit of the rebound. Outside for the young Uremovich. The drive, save, goal! Gattenhammer released the ball for a split second. And the Lord of Indoors was right there to jump on it. The Arrows laid it 7-0.
You know, so people will look at that goal and say, oh, a cheap goal by Steve Zungul. But if we were to watch him throughout his entire movement, he moved from one side of the field to the other. See, he plays the ball over here, lays it off. Now he comes running through from the right side of the goal all the way over. See, there he is back in your screen, all alone. His defender didn't follow him. And this is what Steve does. You get rewarded when you run.
So we have a break in the action with 11:58 left to go in the 4th and final quarter. The Arrows 7, the Baltimore Blast nothing. We'll be back right after this. Back at the Checkerdome in St. Louis, Al Troutwig, Nick Zlatar. The score is 7-0 in favor of New York, and New York isn't letting up. They're really pressing Baltimore.
Well, you know, when the going gets good and things are going your way, everybody's inspired and plays a little bit over their head. It's easy to get motivated when things go right. Baltimore is the one that has to find energy at this point.
Steve Zungul, the hat trick for New York. Freddie Gray met by a hard tackle from Jim Holohan. Now Megaludis scored the first goal of the game, centering in the slot for Franz St. Lot. St. Lot working on Crossley. We have 10 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the 4th and final quarter.
Look for Freddie Gray to get some shots off. He wants to get on the scoreboard at this point.
Luis Alberto reemerges from the New York Arrow bench. Certainly New York content to ride out the clock. Megaludis off the boards for Luis Alberto, racing down the right side. 10.5 left to go in the 4th and final quarter of the game. The Arrows certainly look like a strong contender to make their way to the championship game en route to the 3rd consecutive MISL championship, but they'll have to battle either St. Louis or Wichita to do it. But certainly plenty of time left in this game. If Baltimore can somehow bring it from within and knock a few goals on that board, still a lot of time left in this game. Here's Steve Zungul in a 2-on-1 break for New York. Zungul with Gagarev. Zungul, and he's tackled off the play by Cohen.
But New York showing tremendous skill in that set of pieces. They must have put together 20 consecutive passes before getting that 2-on-1 break.
Strenisser knocks it away from D'Souza. And Baltimore seems to be out of it, shall we say. They look a little sluggish out there. They certainly are not playing with a whole lot of fiery intensity. Zungul misses a Baltimore sandwich and knocks in his 4th goal of the game. Steve Zungul makes it 8-0. His 4th goal of the game. A demoralized Sepp Gattenhammer looks on.
But again, great players create their own things. They make things happen for themselves. Steve Zungul scored a couple goals that nobody expected. Here we see a ball that we're not so sure, but he goes through, splits 2 guys with his chest, puts the ball down, puts it into the net. Again, see him going through, splitting. Zeppi comes out, they're going to cut him off. Nick Mangione is there, plays the ball with his chest, puts it on his right foot, tucks it away into the empty net. You know, the great players, the great artists always have the ability to make the difficult things look simple. We're going to see a substitution here. Zoltan Toth, number 11, going in for Shep Messing. I think a very good choice here by Coach Popovich. Take Shep out. Let's make sure he doesn't get any injuries. Give him a little bit of rest. With 9:33 to go, those 2 gentlemen, they were here in New York from day one. Mr. Franchise, the first player signed by New York. You think the guys like him? Is he the leader of that team?
He's a popular guy on that bench right now. I'll tell you what, Shep Messing gave up no goals. Now Baltimore certainly has to bring it from somewhere to put a couple of goals on the board at least. To be shut out would certainly be demoralizing. So Zoltan Toth, who saw action in 22 games over the past MISL season, with a 4.36 goals against average. That's how we wound up the MISL year. Shep was 4.38, so they were very close, at least statistics-wise. And Zoltan was the winner in the final game of the quarterfinal against Phoenix. Shep was hurt to the point where they decided to play Zoltan Toth. He came in and won the game. The Arrows beating Phoenix 6-5 on Tuesday night. Well, the Arrows now lead Baltimore by the score of 8-0. Here's Mark Liverich for Mangione. The guy can fly off the MISL logo, loose inside, counts, shot, goal! Well, no smiles from that guy, but cheers from the crowd. With 8 minutes and 35 seconds left to go in the fourth, the Blast have their first goal of the game.
And the ball is created, the goal is created from the left side, played off the wall. Nick Mangione takes his shot that goes off the wall. Ball comes back, Dan counts to Mark Liverich, all alone inside the box. Goalkeeper comes out, empty net. There we see it again. Dan counts, good ball right there, wins the tackle, tucks it away. 8-1, 8:35 to go. The question is, has the clock run out for Baltimore?
Well, Liverich is running all over the field. That had to bring the Baltimore team to life. Certainly, the departure of Messing means that they've got a cold goalkeeper in the New York Nets. Baltimore needs 7 goals to tie. 8 minutes and 15 seconds to do it. Luis Alberto back for Val Tuchscha. Baltimore goes with Danny Counts, Mark Liverich, Val D'Souza, Mangione, and Geerling. Strenisser breaks up the Baltimore pass, slides it back for Val Tuchscha, retreats deep into his own zone.
New York really playing well here. 1 touch, 2 touch, keeping the ball and moving forward. Possession is the key. Keep the ball. Without it, the opponent cannot score.
It would not be like the New York Arrows took panic in this particular situation. Val Tuchscha at his own red line. Certainly a comfortable lead, but anything can happen in this game. It's proved every time the ball is kicked off.
And this excellent crowd here urging the Blast on, getting them to put their best effort forward. They want to see more goals from the white team out there.
Believe it or not, the reaction from this crowd is for their public address announcer, who was fired because he punched a Buffalo player in a series a couple of weeks ago. And he made his way around the arena. Nikitovic, goal! Dragan Nikitovic, his second of the game, beating Sepp Gattenhammer. And the Arrows lead it 9-1.
Talking to Coach Popovich before the game, I made a comment to him. This is the guy that might bust out, number 3, Dragan Nikitovic. You know, he's a very explosive player. He's got a great foot, thunderous left foot. Here he is again, pretty close to where he was the first time. Overpowers Shep. Shot that from a little bit of a poor ankle, but with good accuracy and excellent power. See, he's running out, first time shot, left foot. Perhaps Shep went down a little bit too soon, but that ball is moving at 90 miles an hour. You'd want to get out of the way also, Al.
Well, the happy man and the man of the minute is Dragan Nikitovic. His second playoff goal, his second of the game, the assist to Gene Strenisser at 7:53 of the fourth and final quarter of the game. The Arrows back to an 8-goal lead. They lead it 9-1.
And New York right away cranks it up. They come back, put the pressure on, trying to win the ball and get another one.
Liverich shot deflected by Tuchscha. Keep in mind the Arrows have had this fine defensive performance without one of their top defenders, Renato Chila, who has been suspended from further play after striking referee Julio Salas last Saturday in Game 2 of the Phoenix series. The New York Arrows defense has responded admirably. Jimmy Polahan in the slot, getting by George Catalinus. 6 minutes, 24 seconds remaining as the Arrows rest some of the big guns like Shungle and Gigurev and Alberto. Right now they go with Catalinus, Mark Antonio, Sotevsky, Tuchscha, and Nikitovic. Crossley has the ball tackled away by Damir Sotevsky. Collins keeps it in the New York zone. Crossley in the slot for Coker. Down low, Polahan, deflected by Toth on a nice play by Zoltan Toth. And now Nikitovic leads the New York attack across the midfield line. Pulls it back. Coker falls down. Nikitovic still with it. Has Sotevsky wide open right side.
And you saw the excellent speed of Dragan Nikitovic that time. He got a step on Adi Coker and he kept it. Adi, we know, is one of the fastest people in the game.
5 minutes, 43 seconds left to go in this game. 9-1. The New York Arrows have exploded against Baltimore in this game. For Baltimore, a series of ups and downs over the regular season, but certainly one of the ups has been the fabulous support of the fans in that city. Baltimore with a few sellouts and some crazy crowds to help cheer them on to their 21-19 record.
New York really putting on a clinic here in ball possession. Great individual effort. Great run here by Mike Uremovich on the far side off the ball.
Uremovich coming in, bounds one off the boards, stopped by Crossley. Stolen away, Catalinus inside. His shot knocked away by Collins. Collins really hurt, top of the arc. Collins holding onto his right ankle. Satevsky shot, slapped over the glass by Gattenhammer, and it will be a corner kick, New York. John Collins will have to be looked at by Randy G, the Baltimore trainer, with 4 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Those people are waiting for the St. Louis Steamers and the Wichita Wings. Collins being looked at.
You know, Al, this is one of the players that really doesn't get too much info publicity, but he's one of the top defenders for this Baltimore Blast team. Number 18, John Collins, went to block a shot and caught a foot on top of the, just above the instep in the lower part of the shin.
Bill Maxwell, the referee, looking on as we have a break in the action. And we're going to take a look at what happened elsewhere in the quarterfinals. Earlier, we showed you St. Louis and Wichita and how they got to St. Louis for the championship weekend. But how did New York and Baltimore get there? Baltimore defeated Cleveland in a fabulous game, the longest playoff game in the history of the league. Then got dumped in Cleveland, came back to win it 5-2. The Arrows had to go 3 games to defeat Phoenix. 10-6 loss in game 1, a 10-6 win in game 2, and a 6-5 win in game 3. Gearling leading the Baltimore attack, but he's 1-on-4. He's outmanned, and now the Blast come back to help him out. Counts. 4:40 remaining in the contest. Liverich marked by Mark Antonio.
You know, this is almost a replay of the second game that Baltimore played against Cleveland. They got skunked in that game 7-1, with the last goal coming in the waning moments of the game on a penalty kick by Laszlo Harshani. So here we go, 9-1 with 4:25 to go. So Baltimore either does it or they go down very hard.
And what happens after the semifinals? Well, New York plays Baltimore and St. Louis plays Wichita. The championship game, Sunday, March 29th. I believe the date was wrong. It's the 29th of March. That's this Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time. 4:10 remaining in the contest. Surely it looks like New York will go on to the championship game. They'll sit and wait to see who will face them, St. Louis or Wichita. But the tremendous crowd that you've been looking at, they've been quiet now, but it's merely the sleeping giant, because they will awaken when the St. Louis Steamers get introduced to this crowd.
But I am, you know, and I've seen New York play the entire year, but this is an exceptional showcase of their individual talent. The technical excellence of these players is superb, and they are really doing it all in this evening, in today's game.
Certainly on paper, when you looked at it, you seemed that there was no way that Baltimore could possibly win. The Arrows had all the scorers. They had the top defense. They had a penalty killing unit. And most of all, they went 35-5 on the regular season. But there was that intangible, that was emotion. And if anyone looked at the game and said, well, maybe Baltimore can pull it out. They've done it twice at the Nassau Coliseum. They certainly have that emotion and heart to be able to beat New York. But it was simply, as Nick said, a fabulous display by New York. They lead 9-1, 3 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the fourth and final quarter. Catalinus. Fans watching in Baltimore will be able to watch the championship game on the network that they're watching it now. Shot inside, George Catalinus. George Catalinus knocks it in, only his second professional goal. And the Arrows lead it 10-1.
You think he's happy? Now the first goal, the shot just prior to that, comes from Mike Uremovich. He almost scores. Now D'Souza plays the ball off his chest, trying to control it. George Catalinus intercepts, and he wins it. Here's where George does a great piece of digging the ball out away from Sepp. See, now the ball gets switched to the far side. Look at this great shot by Uremovic. Sepp goes down, the ball hits the post, chest trap. Georgie comes in, full volley into the net. Thank you. Celebrate your second goal of your young career.
Look at those two guys hugging together, are 37 years old. Uremovic 18, Catalinus 19. Catalinus' goal from Uremovic at 12-13, Arrows 10, Baltimore Blast 1. So for Baltimore, they can look back on the season and said they battled hard. They did well to get by Cleveland. A team with tremendous heart and certainly a bright future.
Well, I think that's the key to emphasize with this Baltimore Blast franchise is the future. They've got an excellent crop of players. They're very young. I think the average age is around 25 years of age. They have an excellent front office, a great staff, a great coach. So the things will only get better.
Nagy dumps down DeRico, and on the other end of the spectrum, the Arrows look as strong as ever. With 2:26 remaining in the fourth and final quarter, it's the Arrows 10 and the Baltimore Blast 1. The only Baltimore goal coming at 6:25 of the fourth quarter, when Mark Liverich beat Zoltan Toth, who replaced Shep Messing here in the fourth quarter. When Shep left, it was 9-0. 8-0 rather. Baltimore coming back, long shot saved by Toth. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the game. Sutevsky back for Megaludis. Arrows looking to play keep away here and just run out the clock. DeRico gets by Nagy, slides it up to midfield for Gagarev, who knocks it back for Alberto. And Alberto sends it into the New York bench. And it will be a kick-in upcoming for the Blast. There it is, up in lights here at the Checkerdome. 1:51 remaining. The Arrows with the amazing 9-goal lead. The offensive powerhouse was just too much for that Baltimore defense.
I feel a little bit of tension in this crowd. You know, they came in here ready to root on Baltimore. It didn't happen. There wasn't too much for them to cheer. So I have a feeling the place will explode when their steamers come on.
Mangione for Liverich. Liverich looking outside. Shot saved by Toth. Toth lays it out for Nick Megaludis. He had a goal on the game. Tuksha had a goal. Segota had a goal. Nikitovic had 2. Catalinus with 1, and Steve Jungle had 4. Here's Samir Sutevsky quarterbacking the New York show. Inside Alberto, tried to just let it roll by Gattenhammer, and Seppi was there to make the save. Outlet pass for Liverich, marked by DeRico. 1:15 remaining in the game. Deep into the corner, Liverich, marked by DeRico. Mark backheel for D'Souza, who's got to go to the corner. Mangione off the windows. Outside for Crossley. He settles it down. Crossley sends it for Mangione. Winds it up the drive, deflected by Alberto. Under a minute now. So the New York Arrows will go on to the championship game. For Baltimore, they wait till next year. 47 seconds remaining in the contest. Crossley will kick it in for Baltimore. Certainly hope that you have enjoyed the action of the Major Indoor Soccer League throughout the season. Neil Cohen inside the slot, marked by Alberto, who gives him space. Now Liverich, 40 seconds left to go. The shot by Liverich deflected to the corner. Mangione there. The Arrows playing tentatively now. No foolish injuries or anything silly, with only 40 seconds left to go in their semifinal victory here. Goal kick that will be put in play by Zoltan Toth. Bill Maxwell, I think, has refereed a fine game.
Excellent. Very, very excellent.
DeRico ahead for St. Lot. Now 27 seconds left. Crossfield for the running Nick Megaludis coming in. Pass broken up by Cohen. Gagarev was wide open left side. Liverich, 15 seconds, and now boos emanating from the crowd. They hate New York, no doubt about it. Counts. 10 seconds left. Counts with 8 for Liverich. Coming in, wheeling shot, laying down, 3 seconds. Liverich picked it up and tried to throw it in.
I think that showed the frustration. Let's see if it can, and still it didn't go in. Even using the hands, the ball went off the side, and I think that reflects what happened here.
And the buzzer sounds to end the first semifinal game. The game is over. The New York Arrows have defeated the Baltimore Blast in convincing fashion by a score of 10-1. Nick and I will be back to wrap things up when we return you to the Checkerdome right after this message. Stay with us. so the season ends for the Baltimore Blast, but they are a class team, no doubt. Before exiting the field, they waved to the crowd, acknowledging their support. It was a fabulous effort by the New York Arrows, exploding for 10 goals, leading the way Steve Jungle with 4, Nick.
Yes, it was. Steve always gets it for them, but it was the supporting cast that got it. Great defense, great goalkeeping, and they really came to play. That's been the key.
And so it's on to the championship game for the New York Arrows. They wait to see who wins between Wichita and St. Louis. This is Al Troutwig for Nick Slatar, hoping you enjoyed the game. We'll see you again soon.